Trying to summarize my sister's life is impossible. So I'm just going to tell you a few stories about Virginia and some of the things I learned from her. I was 4 years old when Bob was born. Wave your hand, Bob. I was 5 years old when Carolyn was born. I was way too young to appreciate them, but when Virginia was born, I was 9. And I went, wow, it moves. It's like a doll, but it moves. And it smiles and it's trying to talk. And I fell instantly in love with my baby sister. I then took her under my wing, and I felt like I was her second mother. I spent a lot of time with her. We went many places together when she was young, until I got interested in boys, of course. So then, when my daughter, Rachel, was born, wave your arm, Rachel, my sister came to see me, and she looked and she said, wow, it's like a doll, but it moves, and it's cute, and it's trying to talk to me. We saw a lot more of Virginia after Rachel was born. And one memory particularly stands out. My husband's at National Guard camp. I'm laying in bed. Rachel's in the middle, one or so, and Virginia's laying on the other side. And Rachel's cooing and drinking her bottle and being cute, and Virginia and I are just trying to pretend we're just sleeping still. Finally, Virginia raises up on one arm. She looks at me through slitted eyes, and she says, do you have any idea how long it takes before they learn to sleep in? Fortunately, I did not know, because if I'd have said 10 years, she and I had probably both gone up and left Rachel alone. So anyway, so that's the first story. What goes around comes around. You spend extra time with your baby sister. She spends extra time with your oldest kid. The second story is about choosing a path. Virginia was born into a family of extroverts. Her siblings were. Now, when you say that Virginia was outgoing, Virginia was the quiet one of the family. We're talking extroverts. We're talking people with lots of opinions and no problem expressing them. And when we get together, the three of us stand around and yell, and it was especially after the three girls found out that our brother had gone to the dark side politically. How embarrassing. Anyway, but Virginia would sit back with her cup of milk with a little bit of coffee in it to flavor it. And when we were all through ranting, raving, pounding on the table and stopping to take a deep breath, she'd make about a 2-sentence comment with a touch of humor in it, and it would all be very clear. We understood some things we had never understood before. So she chose her own path in that way. When I went to college, a counselor at Newport High said, give it a try, see what you think. And I went to college for 1 quarter, and I said, I'm in love. I love college. This is great. And wild horses couldn't drive me away. But I talked to my dad. He said, I got 3 more kids. Girls don't need college education. So with loans, scholarships, grants, and working very hard, I made it through college. But by the time Virginia came along, it was 9 years later, my dad said, hey, Mary went to college, Bob went to college. You got great jobs. I'll help you through college. So Virginia went 1 year. And then she said, you know what? I'm going back to Newport. Once again, Virginia chose her own way, despite what her father and her mother and her brother and her sister were trying to persuade her to. She chose her own way. 3 or 4 years later, there was a wedding. And it lasted 33 years, the marriage. And 25 years after she was married, she confided to me, Dave was the only man I was ever interested in, and the only man I ever wanted. So, the story of choosing your own path. The last part is about the extra mile. If you read the website that Brian has so beautifully put together, you'll see that our family reunion, our family camp out is a really big deal. Once a year we get together. But deciding where to have that is a very lengthy negotiation process. Now, Bob, he's always out of luck because he lives in Walla Walla. And once every 15 years, we might go over on that side of the mountains. But I'm up north in Washington, and Virginia's down here, and we always had this, where is it going to be? Who's going to drive the most? So finally, this last year, Virginia played wind cart. Well, you know how sick I get? I'm always car sick, and sure enough, when she was a baby, or a small child, that windy road from Corvallis to Newport, every time we had to have a lot of paper bags in the car, and every time she'd give the signal, they'd pull over, she'd throw up, and it was just the routine. So she said, you know, I get sick, and it's really hard for me to drive. I said, okay, I will drive 12 hours back and forth to the camp out in Albany, and you can drive 4 hours, okay? I'm going to do this. And I grumbled a bit about it. However, this was the last time we were together and the last time we saw our sister. So the third part is the extra mile. So the three things I learned from my sister. What goes around comes around. You give extra, you get extra. Choose your own path. Life is short. Choose the path that works for you. And never, never hesitate to go the extra mile for someone you love, because you do not know about tomorrow or next week or the next month.